From the writer of Dark Night of the Scarecrow, J.D. Feigelson brings us a tale of a shark, greed, and greedy sharks. This is the 2003 TV movie starring Louis Diamond Phillips from Route 666 and Kristy Swanson from Swamp Shark, which I shall be reviewing next, followed by Route 666. Anyways, this, Route 666, and Animal, which I shall be reviewing including Swamp Shark, which really has nothing to do with the Scarecrow movies I reviewed, because the Scarecrow movies I reviewed have people who worked on Redwater, Route 66, and Animal. So these are like after reviews for Scarecrow Week. So, yeah. But before we get into it, make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page, and to support me on Patreon, even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Also hit that notification bell, and as always, subscribe. Alright, let's get into this. The plot. After some dynamite testing in a nearby oil rig, a bull shark is released into the Mississippi River. After killing the mayor's daughter, a hunt for the fish begins. Meanwhile, a couple of fishermen bring out an executive of the oil rig to said destination. On top of that, a trio of thugs are looking for treasure that was dumped into the river by one of them not long ago. Once everything connects, we are in for one cool shark action movie. First of all, the story itself brought me back to those 70s and sometimes even 80s shark action movies where the characters are hunting for a sunken treasure or a lost treasure of sorts, or even a stolen treasure, and there's a shark or sharks surrounding the area. That's just the story, though. This film has a different style to those productions. For example, setting it in the Mississippi River was a nice touch. It added a level of cultural flair. There are some pointless scenes, such as when one of the fishermen stops on the way to the oil rig to go visit his clan, and they end up spending the night. It definitely was not needed, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. The river is a cool setting, though, as is the inclusion of an oil rig. It is mostly just an action set piece. However, there is one part where one of the oil workers points out not to have the oil level cross the red line. And it's like, wouldn't he have already known that? Wouldn't everyone who was working there have already known that? And not have to ask, what happens if that happens? Well, you work here, don't you? I get it, it was mostly there for the audience to know. However, it could have been handled much, much better. Like maybe have a close call. But they catch it in time, and then have an I told you so. And then later have it explode. That way it wouldn't have seemed as forced. The characters are fun enough, though. John, played by Louis Diamond Phillips, is a damaged leading man. Like he's struggling to keep up with the payments on his boat. One of the executives of the oil rig is his ex-wife, and a lot of things are just going wrong for this guy. And he may be the cool captain of the bunch, but he gives out terrible one-liners. Hats and horns. I was like, oh, what? They're so bad, they're funny. Kelly, played by Kristy Swanson from Swamp Shark and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is the all-businesswoman who has a job to do. She doesn't just sit by when things need to get done, though. She gets involved. She dives, she participates, and makes for an okay leading lady. Ice, played by Coolio from Pterodactyl and Leprechaun in the Hood, is the gangsta character. He has an itchy trigger finger, and isn't just all talk and no action. Jerry, played by Yamiz Wolvet, is the gruff bad guy, who seems to be level-headed and okay at first, but then switches from being a decent guy to a bit rapey, then back to a decent guy. However, he isn't a decent guy after that rape attempt, mind you. He just acts like he is. The rest of the cast is serviceable. There are no downright bad performances, save for the kid at the beginning. It's a rarity nowadays to have such a solid cast for such a low-budget feature. The low budget doesn't affect much in this film. I don't have any numbers to gauge how much this film actually cost, but I would have to say that it'd probably be around $1 to $2 million, mainly for some of the effects used, which I shall get into now. The gore, the effects. There's a severed hand along with the as-titled red water. While there's not much in terms of gore, we get a couple of awesome shark kills. Regardless, one where a woman is ripped off a bridge, another where the character is laughing at the shark, only to breach from the water and chomp down. Also, there's one with a grandfather doing a somersault into the water. It's ridiculous. The mechanical shark is awesome in this film. Apparently, it's one of the first mechanical sharks used in this way. It moved a certain way that the other ones couldn't do. I mean, come on, Jaws 1 to 4 are cool mechanical sharks for the most part, but they were rather stiff. This one was able to sway its tail to and fro in a natural way. It's an awesome mechanical looking shark. However, I feel that is where most of their money went. The CGI is awful in this flick. The shark doesn't look natural in these shots. It just looks like a cartoon. It's highly disappointing, especially given the fact that the first shot you see is of the shark in its full CG glory. The motion picture soundtrack, Luis Fabre and Dominic Messenger composed some pretty good music for this film. I can't tell who did what in terms of presentation, but they both have their goods and bads. There are southern themes as well as suspenseful ones. Even looking back at their composing credits from around this time, the titles don't give me any answers to the composers' styles. The music isn't that bad, though. It does lack a memorable theme, and is a bit generic at times, though. Still, I think it has enough heart to get by. This was a decent shark movie. It has a cool setting that was utilized well. I liked the characters and enjoyed the actors and actresses' performances. There should have been more gore, but the crazy attacks sort of make up for it, and are definitely worth watching for. The mechanical shark looks great, but the CG one is terrible. Music-wise, it's alright. It's something to tap your feet to. I'd say give this one a watch if you are fed up with the current wave of shark movies. This one might seem like a breath of fresh Mississippi air. Overall, I give Red Water a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, the horror show host. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon. Even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Also hit that notification bell, and as always, subscribe.